CityCast Pittsburgh is supported by Fulton Commons. If you're looking for a gorgeous co-working space with lots of light and some truly wonderfully funky decor, check out Fulton Commons on the north side. The historic but very well renovated old school building is deep in the neighborhood by a park, tucked away but still super close to anywhere you want to be. They've got offices and common spaces. It's perfect for organizations or individuals, and they even have a shared food production kitchen on site. So there's lots of food-related events for their members. If this sounds like your dream co-working space, visit fultonpgh.org to request a tour. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, when I think of taking a food tour of the city, I picture the bar crawls on the south side or, I don't know, eating a lot of pierogi from a variety of church basements. But there is a much more legit way to taste our region. It's called a culinary trail. You can check them out on the state's tourism website. You pick a type of treat like pickles or ice cream, bread, charcuterie, and your region, like here around Pittsburgh, and you get this custom itinerary with all kinds of stops along the way. Today, I am with the mastermind behind these trails to talk about her inspiration and how you can design your own. It's Wednesday, May 7th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. Mary Miller, hi. I am so glad you're here.
Hi, Megan. So nice to talk with you.
You too. I want to hear all about the food histories that you put together. You work on something called a culinary trail. How do you define that term?
I'm glad you said it that way because I define it in a different way than some people do.
I love it. Tell me your version.
So I am very interested in agriculture, architecture, immigration, and food. And so I define a culinary trail as a group of stops that are part of a self-guided tour that cover a specific topic. Like I've done artisan cheese, I've done apples, pickled and fermented foods. But they're trails that list stops and lodging for the most part. So that really aren't just every stop where you go and eat something, but it's like, look at the architecture, look at the farm and what's grown here and how these things are grown. So it kind of is a deep dive into food history rather than some trails. And there's nothing wrong with these other trails, but some trails that are just like donut trail. And you go from donut shop to donut shop.
It's kind of like a bar crawl, but for food or whatever.
Yes. So I'm just interested in everything that goes into a place and the stories behind the location and the owners. And so the trails that I've developed are a little more, not that they're better, they're just a little deeper.
Yeah. How many spots is like an ideal number, at least for you, for this project, for, the way you travel around the state?
It kind of depends on to be honest with you, the funding source for the trail. So the trails, the first 4 trails, the ones that are on the PA website, were funded by the Appalachian Regional Commission. So there were guidelines that I needed to cover, like cover all the counties in Appalachia, and also numbers of stops that were recommended. So it depends. Like the last 2 trails were just funded by the state, and I kind of had free reign to do whatever. But on the trails, the stops aren't required. It's a self-guided trail. So if you read about something and let's say a grist mill somewhere and you're just not into that, then you don't go. There's no requirement. You just skip it or do pieces of it. You don't have to. The trails were designed to do basically a loop in different parts of the state that would include 2 to 3 nights lodging if you wanted to stay overnight. What I did with the lodging, also so fun, is tried to tie the lodging to the theme of the trail. So on the Breads and Grains Trail, a few of the overnight suggestions are grist mills that are now bed and breakfast,
Fun.
Yeah, really fun. Our old potato chip factory that now is a hotel, that kind of stuff. I tried to have it be meaning, and also make it not always expensive. So some of the places are glamping or camping, and some are a little more fancy in terms of resorts. So that everyone could do it. Another goal of mine on everything that I do is to make every stop somewhere that everyone is welcome. Not
Yeah,
always
yeah.
easy in Pennsylvania sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that's top of mind for you. And I don't want to make you pick your darlings here, but can you walk us through maybe a Western Pennsylvania section of one of them? Like, give us some idea of the history that you might encounter, like some of the bites that people might be able to taste.
Sure. So I have a couple, but I'll start with one that'll show you kind of how my quirky brain thinks. So it'd be in like East Liberty, for example.
Hmm.
I love driving past, it's at 5438 Penn Avenue, and it's a terracotta building if you're driving towards East Liberty, and it says on the outside, I don't know if you've ever seen it, Laxum acidophilus. Have you ever seen this building?
I'm sure I've driven past it, but no, I feel like that phrase, that strange phrase would have stuck in my mind.
It's carved in the terracotta. I had been fascinated with it for years because I love architecture. I love food history. Turns out it was the birthplace of GNC here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, like the health company?
Yes. It was an Armenian yogurt and buttermilk factory, and they also did Bulgarian acidophilus milk. So milk that's easier for people with lactose deficiencies to digest.
I was about to say, I immediately recognize that. I need more of that in my life.
Yeah, don't we all? As you get older, you'll need it even more. So that building was the headquarters and the lab for what turned into GNC.
Huh.
It's a cool building, has a little graffiti on the side, doesn't really hurt it, but I would drive past that. Then my next stop suggestion would be at I don't know if you've ever been to the Farmers Market Co-op in East Liberty.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's kind of a hidden gem that a lot of people, they don't even know it exists. They'll go, we have many lovely farm markets, Bloomfield, Highland Park, gorgeous farm markets. But this one is the oldest continuing operating market in Western Pennsylvania.
It's over in East Liberty.
In East Liberty, it's on Sheridan Street, North Sheridan Street by the Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's open on Saturdays from 5 till noon. It's indoors. It's been there since 1941. And the vendors are lovely. It's like a different vibe than the fancier markets. Mm-hmm. And this year they have a new kimchi vendor there that they also have a lot of nice Korean food. So to me, the food's there, the kind of quaintness of it, and the history of that market is important. So yeah, then after that, I would drive on South Highland again at the corner of Highland and Penn. From 1896 to 1977, there was a market there called Stevenson's, and that was kind of a fancy, I would call it like Whole Foods for the elite in Pittsburgh in the late 1800s. So there are pictures of all the Mellons, the Heinz family, the Carnegies, the Negleys. Their butlers shopped there for them. So they didn't go, of course, but there are these great pictures of horse and carriages with the butlers going into Stevenson's there. And it's a piece of history, and it's food, but it's not what we always think of as like a food tour where you just go stop and eat.
And which trail are these a part of?
I think it's actually the cheese one, which hasn't been put up there yet.
Oh, gotcha. Well, that's cool, though. It's like we're getting a sneak peek. Today's show is supported by Liberty Magic, presenting Joshua J. in the upcoming show, Making Magic. You can check it all out through June 7th. Magicians don't usually reveal their secrets. It's sort of the thing. But Joshua takes his audience behind the curtain, so you can actually see how the tricks get developed. He's bringing new magic to his debut at Liberty Magic here in Pittsburgh, and he's going to be dazzling us by blending storytelling with sleight of hand. You might have actually seen him before. He designed illusions for Game of Thrones. He's made appearances on late night TV. He's even actually fooled the experts, Penn and Teller. So if you are feeling truly adventurous, you want to get up close, try to figure out the tricks for yourself, you can upgrade your ticket to the Skeleton VIP experience. You get closer to the stage and a post-show meet meet and greet. Liberty Magic's shows truly offer you a one-of-a-kind experience, super easy to access, but hard to forget. Get your tickets at trustarts.org/magic before they disappear. Today's show is brought to you by Aura Home. This Mother's Day, don't just tell the moms in your life how much you love them. Share what's going on in your world in a way that can stick with them for years to come. I've got a cousin. She is older than me, kind of an aunt, really, and we haven't lived in the same city in almost 20 years, but I want her to know me and the family that I have found here in Pittsburgh. So she got an Aura frame a while back, and it has fully changed how we talk to each other. So I send her frame pictures of my kid, who she's only met in person like 2 or 3 times, but she knows exactly when he took his first step, what color his favorite cars are, and that when he is up to something, he looks exactly like our grandfather. It keeps us connected in this really special way, and I'm so grateful for it because it has nothing to do with social media. Aura's Carver frame was Wirecutter's #1 pick for a digital photo frame, and you've probably seen it in a bunch of other gift guides. So if you have not gotten one yet, now is the time because Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, listeners to this show can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's Aura, A-U-R-A, frames.com, promo code CityCast. Please support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. So let's talk about the trails that are up on the Pennsylvania Tourism website right now. What spots do you love the most? Like, what would you highlight? Again, close to us in Allegheny County. Could be any trail, any theme, just whatever you're digging right now.
What I love the most. Well, I don't know if you've ever been inside the Fairmont Hotel and seen all of those things that they've dug up when they... No. All right. Inside the Fairmont.
You saw my face. No, I'm not. I don't think I
have. When they dug for PPG Place and then for the Fairmont Hotel, that beautiful hotel that's down there, they found more than 26,000 artifacts from like 1840 to 1876, and many of them are displayed inside the Fairmont. So go in the lobby, go up the little ramp, they're up in the hallways in glass cases, and it includes a lot of food-related things. So seltzer bottles, ceramics, glass, whiskey and wine bottles, items from this Knox Botanical and Seed store that used to be there.
Okay.
So like, really cool food-related artifacts inside the Fairmont.
Wow. Okay.
Like, I love those things. And pieces of old broken teapots and some ceramic dolls and things too. It's not all food. But so I love that. I also love, in Market Square, there used to be a giant indoor market forever ago. Don't you wish? I mean, love Market Square, but like a big indoor food market. Oh my goodness, would that be great? So when that was torn down, in 1919, Nicholas Coffee, do you know those folks?
Yeah, they still have a spot over there.
Yes. And, it's not your like bougie coffee shop. It's old school Nicholas Coffee. It smells delicious in there. Been there since 1919. Like, it's really special. Often on that same little area outside of Nicholas Coffee, this food truck, do you know Yovi's?
Mm-hmm. I've seen them around.
I love Yovi's. So Yovi's used to have a storefront in Market Square. Now they have a food truck. He kind of represents all the Greek immigrants that came to Pittsburgh. And although the food in the truck isn't, pierogies and halushki, he does amazing Chicago dogs and Italian beef sandwiches. And so you have to check Yovi's schedule. But to me, that's fun. One more thing in Market Square. When you go up for 240 Smithfield, look at the top of the building. It says Donahoe's carved into the stone. Donahoe's was claimed to be America's finest pure food store. So this is in the early 1900s. It was like a gourmet food shop in the early 1900s down there on Smithfield Street. And a CVS is underneath it now, but the bottom was groceries. The second floor was a fancy cafeteria, and it's still carved in the stone. And, what I like to remind people, because not everyone wants to eat all day long. Like it's a little, me, yes, but
I mean, a lot of Pittsburghers can eat a lot of the day.
but to go, I just needed to include like other things in this. And I try to remind people when you're walking, when you're going somewhere, don't just look straight ahead and down, but look up. Look at the buildings, look at the dates on the buildings, look at the architecture. Like all of that has to do with like our culture and our food in the long run. Like how, were you wealthy? Were you poor? Like what did you eat? It's all, to me, everything kind of goes back to food. So that's my market square.
I mean, you've got this wealth of information. You've done so much travel and so much investigation. I'm wondering if, somebody's listening to this and they've got like, friends or family coming into town, for example, what you might recommend to them for how to show off our region, like how to make their own little mini unofficial culinary trail. Any suggestions for folks?
Well, it kind of depends on what they enjoy, right? A little bit. I always like
to pick a theme. That's rule number one.
I would pick a theme. And based on what your family, on what they like. I mean, some people, I tend to like things that are a little bit like rusty. And I like old Pittsburgh. I like Amy's up in Rankin, old school restaurant, great fish sandwiches. The daughter of the original owner owns it now. They're just like lovely, real people. I love the pretzel shop on the south side. If you've been to that, their pretzels, that might not be like, whoa, but the history of it, it's been there since 1927. They have this, have you seen their brick oven in there?
I have. And actually, I'm not a pretzel person. I don't really like pretzels. I like the pretzel shop a lot.
Same. Sometimes they're too doughy. I don't like a certain pretzel. I love them. They also sell the Pittsburgh iconic dessert strawberry pretzel salad. Mm-hmm. They sell that in there too.
They'll also create a pretzel in the shape of whatever you want. Well, probably not anything you want, but they'll do it like they'll write out words too. Like I saw Go Steelers in there once when I was in there, written in a pretzel.
Yeah. I would say pick a theme and then, get an idea of how much you want to spend, because some people want the higher end restaurants and some people just want a good burger from somewhere like Tesaro's or wherever. And so
is there an ideal number of stops maybe?
I think most people, about 5 or 6 stops is probably when they've had enough, quite honest. I'm thinking of my family members who would be just like, now where are we going? That would be
like they're good for 1, 2, maybe 3, but somewhere in the middle of that, they're like, all right, where else?
And if you have adults, I think and adults who drink alcohol, I think an alcohol stop is always really important. So we have so many local distilleries and breweries that something could be thrown in. But I do think even when I did my tours for my company, there was always alcohol involved. Everyone has better time.
Do you advise putting the alcohol at the end or in the middle just to loosen everybody up?
I put the alcohol before we got back on the shuttle to drive back home. It was usually the last stop.
So you keep everyone's eye on the prize at the end.
Right. Yeah. And I always had a bag full of like little treats to hand out, right? Have a treat, try this. But yeah, I think 6, for most people, it can be overwhelming. Not me. I could do it all day, every day. But, 5 or 6 is probably enough.
Yeah. Well, I know you've got some more work coming out here pretty soon. Where can folks find your additional trails once they're ready?
Okay. So the cheese and the salty snacks, that's what I called it. So it has to do with pretzels, chips, and that kind of thing, which Pennsylvania. I know you did I listened to your tasting on potato chips.
Yes. There were so many Pennsylvania potato chips. I had no idea.
There are so many. And there are so many pretzels. It just, not as much in Western PA. It's more central and Philly. But those 2 trails will be up on the Visit PA website. I'm not sure when, but that's where they will be. And then I had an idea last year to do an Alakiski trail. So do you know, like the AK Valley, it's, I would say from Blawnox all the way up to Katanning and towns that go out from there. And it's a fascinating piece of history and lots of great food that I really wasn't aware of till I started wandering around out that way. And it's not up on the Rivers of Steel website yet, but should be by the beginning of summer. And it just covers, the beginning of Alcoa, the beginning of PPG, all of that happened in that valley. And now there are good things happening. Like in the first PPG plant ever is now the new Iron City Brewery.
Yeah.
Their tour is fantastic. Get great samples at the end. And then in that brewery, so the building was built in the late 1800s. They kept the steel beams that still say Carnegie Steel on them. So they kept,
Oh, wow.
now it's really it's a fun, easy drive from if you live downtown, Shady Side, Lawrenceville. It doesn't take long to get there. It's a cool place.
We'll keep tabs on that. And as soon as they're available, we'll let folks know. Mary, thank you so much. I appreciate everything you've shared today. I think you need to come back. I think that's what we've learned.
I could talk forever, as you can see, about this. Thank you so much.
That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. We've got one more new neighbor to thank today. Leah Kay was catching up on the pods, the Hey Pittsburgh newsletter, and felt inspired. Y'all, it is never too late to be like Leah and sign up to support the work that we do. Head over to membership.citycast.fm. We will be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. We'll talk to you soon. You can tell me about Drinks Out with Randy of Randyland anytime.